Hi, I'm Rebecca Turner.
And I'm Adam Roshan. You're watching Spoke TV, a weekly news show produced by Conestoga College journalism students.
We begin with national news. A group of prominent Canadian women rallied together to restore gender-neutral lyrics to the national anthem. Spoke TV's Steve Spar has more on the story.
Oh Canada, our home in sexist land? Well, a group of prominent Canadian women think so and want to change some of the lyrics to the anthem. The group says the lyrics exclude about 50% of the population, being women, and women's studies expert Tracy Penny-Light thinks change is good.
Something that probably a lot of Canadians don't really think about on a day-to-day basis, that just the word sends is not inclusive. So I think the initiative that these very prominent Canadian women are taking to actually bring attention to that and perhaps change the language is a good thing because it raises awareness for everyone.
The group, which includes former Prime Minister Kim Campbell and novelist Margaret Atwood, would make the anthem gender neutral as it was originally. The original 1908 lyric was "Thou dost in us command." This was changed in 1913 to "In all thy sons command." Historians think this might have been to encourage enlistment as World War I loomed on the horizon. In 2010, the announcement was made that Parliament would review the original gender-neutral wording of our national anthem. However, after huge backlash, in which 3/4 of Canadians polled said they wanted the lyrics to remain the same.
I think there's better things that they could be fighting for other than our national anthem. Don't get me wrong, I really appreciate everything that they are fighting for. There's a lot of good causes.
Whether or not the federal governing Conservatives will take note of the campaign this time is not yet known. For Spoke TV, I'm Steve Spar.
In international news, the shutdown of the United States Congress continues. The stalemate is beginning to affect everything from private companies to shelter programs. Spoke TV's Kelly Burns takes a look at how the shutdown is affecting travelers on this side of the border.
With the shutdown of the American government nearing a week, Canadians are wondering when they are going to feel the pinch. Unfortunately, travelers are commonly affected. Waterloo Airport hosts American Airlines flight which flies daily to Chicago. We spoke to Rudenko, a city cab driver at Waterloo Airport, to see if he has noticed a drop in the number of customers since the shutdown.
No, nothing. Business as usual.
So far, it looks like things will carry on like normal for air travel, although some administrative jobs in the industry will not be looked after. That means no new employees being hired or finalizing the merger between American and U.S. Airways. A merger which, if passed, could see 2013 revenues of over $40 billion. As a U.S. citizen and pilot, First Officer Pedro Noguera tells us what other aspects are affected.
No, we haven't seen any changes recently in passenger traffic because it's still too early in the shutdown. Weeks pass by, we will see a difference just because the government shutdown will make it harder for people to leave the U.S. and visit the U.S. due to the delays in passport and visas processing, which can hit the airlines quite hard. That's probably not in 2 weeks, but probably when it goes into a month, 2 months.
So although there are no delays here at Waterloo Airport, be sure to check online with your destination or your airline to find if there are any slowdowns. For Spoke TV, I'm Kelly Burns. International news hits close to home with our next story. The number of government-assisted refugees from Syria is drastically lower than those who are privately sponsored. Spoke TV's Candace Cobbing explains that these numbers leave some refugees waiting for their family.
The crisis in Syria has left many fleeing to neighboring countries and many others trying to come to Canada. That is the case with Syrian-born University of Waterloo student Rosanna, whose last name has been omitted to protect her family. Rosanna came to Canada 6 years ago with her dad with the intent of having her mother and sister follow suit. She's running into a roadblock.
It will take years in normal conditions to process, so in these times, they're not accepting any applications. She can't even come for a visit. Nothing is being accepted. So actually my sister, she's a Canadian citizen. She's 17, but she decided that she couldn't leave my mom alone in that situation, so she's also there with her.
The Canadian government announced that they would bring 1,300 Syrian refugees to Canada before 2014. So why is it so hard for people like Rosanna to bring her family over? The executive director of the Canadian Council for Refugees weighs in on the topic.
200 would be government-assisted refugees, and the other 1,100 would be privately sponsored. But and the question is, this 1,100 privately sponsored, it doesn't seem actually very plausible.
Hopeful with the prospect of seeing her mother in Canada in the near future.
Because my mom is not a special case for them. She's a special case for me, but as far as they're concerned, she's just another person among hundreds of thousands that are applying every day. So hopefully they will process that application and that employee would agree to bring her here. I don't know what's going to happen.
Sponsorship into this country is largely based on your economical status. So for students like Rosanna, that can make situations hard. We've also heard the numbers, 2.1 million Syrian refugees. Those are the ones who are registered, more than that who aren't. Of that number, a much lower number have made it into Canada. In the first 8 months of 2013, that number was 9. For Spoke TV, I'm Candace Cobbing.
On a lighter note, local apple farmers are much happier with their crops this year as opposed to last. Spoke TV's Brittany Mifsud went down to Martin's family fruit farm in Waterloo to report on the successful harvest.
When talking to an apple farmer, hearing that their biggest problem is that there are too many apples this year, that's a great sign, especially in comparison to last year. Ontario apple farmers are celebrating a perfect crop this year, saving them tons of money. Last year, many local farms, like Martin's, had to shut down their pick-your-own apples and could not celebrate their annual harvest festival because there were simply not enough apples to go around. Rosemary Martin, who helps run the retail store at Martin's, explains that they had to import apples just to get by last season.
Yes, our own apples were done by the end of November. We brought a lot in from wherever we could find them, mostly from BC, some from Quebec, so we were hauling them long distances.
The apple business is buzzing this year. As you can see behind me, Martin's isn't having any problems and has 100% of their crops in comparison to last year's 20%.
Weather conditions last year were the main cause of the shortage in apples, as Kevin Martin, owner of Martin's Apple Farm, explains.
It's a really good crop. Trees typically, when they have a year off, they have more energy, and so they're more likely to produce a good crop of apples, and so they had energy stored up. And everything worked out well. The blossom period was great, and so it's a fantastic crop of apples this year.
Many consumers are rushing to buy apples early because of how early the apples ran out last year. But Martin's is expecting their apples to last the entire season, with little or no importing from other Canadian farms.
For Spoke TV, I'm Brittany Mifsud. And in Kitchener, the museum on King Street is featuring a water exhibit that focuses on sustainability and educates the public on the importance of this precious element. Spoke TV's Sarah Schilling dives into this topic.
So we're here at the museum in downtown Kitchener, taking a look at the water exhibit, Surface Tension, the Future of Water.
The stimulating displays in the exhibit grab attention and show the future of water through the use of art, science, and engineers, and explain how water affects the world in different ways. Dahi O'Reilly joined Surface Tension from Trinity College, and he explains what the demonstration is and what it hopes to accomplish.
The different aspects of water and perspectives on water, be it its role in economic processes, environmental, ecological concerns, or how we might seek to harness the energy of water for energy supply.
It has beautiful visuals, from a chart showing how much water goes into manufacturing other items, to a new way of helping to clean oil spills, and even a live feed of a lost buoy's movements in the Pacific Ocean. The CEO of the museum, David Marskell, tells us why they decided to bring this particular exhibit to Kitchener.
I've never experienced anything in my career where so many people want to be involved and partner with us and talk about this really, really important subject. So it was an easy one for us to sort of say, you know, let's lock this one in and make the best of it.
One of the most interesting displays is a waterfall of words taken from the New York Times.
If you want to find out more about how water affects the environment, politics, and other things like that, Surface Tension runs until January 5th. For Spoke TV, I'm Sarah Schilling.
In campus news, Conestoga's men's soccer team has had to face a few obstacles this year. Battling injury and loss, they try to find new motivation. Spoke TV's Steve Radzinski has more on how the team plans on improving.
With 8 new players signed on to the roster this year, Conestoga men's soccer team has their work cut out for them. Head coach Aldo Kreitzer, who's been coaching the men's squad for 5 years at Conestoga, is positive his team can do better. They just need to push themselves even harder.
The effort is there. It's just we get goals very, very easily. We score on every game a goal, but we get more than we score. So I tell them they should start playing a little bit more defensively, but I guess during the heat of the game, it's hard.
According to defenseman Brad Townsend, the team does have the potential to get better. It's just a matter of finding that extra bit of motivation.
We're trying really hard, we just can't seem to find our rhythm to play a full 90 minutes. We've scored it in every single one of our games. All the games we've lost by 1 goal. You know, we're almost there, just a little bit's missing.
Injuries have also taken their toll on the team, but trainers are working closely with players to help them get back on their feet. The Conestoga men's soccer team has had a rough season this year, but the will and commitment are there. With 3 games left to go before the playoffs, anything can happen. For SpokeTV, I'm Steve Rudzinski.
In entertainment news, cosplay has grown in popularity from television to movies and is becoming more mainstream than ever. SpokeTV's Cale Walters visits GenreCon at the Delta Hotel in Guelph to explore how enthusiasts feel about cosplay's newfound prominence.
From video games to anime, geek culture is alive in the mainstream. Recent box office hits and television shows are helping to grow the geek community, making events like Guelph's GenreCon larger than ever. Robert White sees a shift in society's acceptance since he was a child.
I think the biggest change is that you see it out in the public more. And then even TV shows like Big Bang Theory, you know, all of a sudden we're watching ourselves.
Big Bang Theory isn't the only show making waves in pop culture. A famous British sci-fi is more popular than ever.
As Doctor Who enters into its 50th year, its name is still as big as ever, and for some, they're celebrating the pride of being a geek.
Melinda Moon has been attending conventions for over 4 years and believes, unlike some others, that all newcomers should be accepted.
I still don't think people should get touchy about and hog. I think it should be out there because it's so much fun.
While fellow congoer Sid sees positives, he also believes there is a downside to geek culture's rise in popular culture.
I see also the issue of our community being made into a commodity, and that's something that is of concern.
Live-action role-playing is an activity that is also becoming more popular thanks to movies like Role Models and Unicorn City. As the culture gets more attention, the community continues to grow.
For SpokeTV, I'm Cale Walters.
That's it for this episode. I'm Adam Roshan.
And I'm Rebecca Turner. This is SpokeTV, keeping you in the loop.